everyone. My team consists of myself, Ferris, Charmaine, Schilling, and Evangeline, and we have developed a case study based on a gay adulterous relationship. The relevant negotiation theory we choose to focus on is game theory. Game theory is a decision-making mathematical framework developed by John von Neumann in 1928. It can be used in everyday situations. According to game theory, a prisoner's dilemma describes a situation where two players acting selfishly will ultimately result in a suboptimal choice for both. Game theory is a concept that utilizes mathematical frameworks of decision-making. It identifies detriments of human decisions in strategic situations in either conflict or cooperation to resolve an issue. Game theory was first developed by John von Neumann in 1928 with the aim of interpreting and revealing information from other parties. Game theory is highly applicable on a daily basis from individuals to multinational corporations to government bodies. Decisions must be made. In our presentation, we will be focusing mainly on the prisoner's dilemma. The prisoner's dilemma is one of the most famous game theories. It was conceptualized by Merrill Flood and Melvin Drescher at the Rand Corporation in 1950. The prisoner's dilemma is a paradox in decision analysis whereby two individuals acting in their own self-interest do not produce the optimal outcome. The prisoner's dilemma elucidates that many factors that go on behind making a decision and that simple cooperation is not always in a player's best interest. For our assumptions for this case study, every player acts in self-interest to maximize utility or payoff rather than interests of others. Secondly, people are rational and logical who will follow a set of rules and regulations. And lastly, there are at least two players who will compete to get their way.
Moving on to the situation, Zayden and Ferris have been happily married for 7 years. However, both have cheated on each other with other people. There is a monetary incentive for whoever comes clean in the form of one-time alimony to be paid by the other party. They might even end up staying together or getting a divorce. So situation 1 will be that both of them stay silent and remain happily married with no monetary incentive, while situation 2 will be Zayden admits while Ferris does not. And situation 3 will be Ferris admits while Zayden does not. And lastly, situation 4 is that both of them admit, ending in a divorce and no benefits.
The case is an example of prisoner's dilemma under the umbrella of game theory in which Ferris and Zayden engage in a non-cooperative game and take an action at the same time. The reason that this case is an example of game theory and prisoner's dilemma is because both parties, Ferris and Zayden, act in their own self-interest whilst considering the options of the other player. We have developed a prisoner's dilemma matrix which conveys the 4 possible outcomes of the case as shown on the slide. 1. Zayden stays silent and Ferris stays silent. Both of them would be happily married with no money exchange. 2. Zayden stays silent and Ferris speaks up. Ferris will be getting money from Zayden. 3. Zayden speaks up and Ferris stays silent. Zayden will be getting money from Ferris. 4. Zayden speaks up and Ferris speaks up. This will mean that both of them will be divorced with no benefits. The matrix analyzes both parties' best responses. If Zayden stays silent, Ferris' best response will be to speak up, as getting money from Zayden will be a higher payoff for Ferris as compared to staying silent and receiving no money. If Zayden decides to speak up, Ferris' best response will be to speak up as well, as Ferris will not need to pay Zayden, which is a lower payoff for Ferris compared to be divorced with no benefits. Therefore, Ferris' best and dominant response will be to speak up. As for Zayden, his best response will be the same as Ferris, which is also to speak up.
The Nash equilibrium would be their best response, as both Zayden and Ferris admit to cheating, resulting in divorce, which impacts both of them equally. The Pareto optimal outcome would be that neither Zayden nor Ferris admit to cheating, which results in a couple staying happily married. Even though the Pareto optimal is in theory the best decision in any prisoner's dilemma, in reality, the Nash equilibrium is a more commonly seen solution as compared to the Pareto optimal. This is because humans are greedy by nature and want to gain or save themselves at the expense of others. Assuming the decision to speak up purely lies for monetary incentive, Ferris and Zayden would both choose to speak up to receive alimony from the other, rather than be a sitting duck by keeping quiet and paying the alimony. It is clear to see that both individuals in the case must consider the dilemma of the potential outcomes that result as a byproduct of admitting to cheating/not cheating. Choosing to admit opens up the option of coming out better than the opponent. However, this is not guaranteed, as the opponent could also admit to cheating, which will result in the Nash equilibrium. Staying silent is also an option. However, this puts the outcome of the situation in the hands of the opponent, since if they admit, they will come out better off than the other party that stays silent. In conclusion, game theory is applicable to all fields and utilized by normal everyday people when making simple decisions like deciding what to eat or making difficult life choices. In this short case study scenario, both Ferris and Zayden would have benefited from the situation that would yield a better outcome, which is to stay happily married, rather than choosing the rational choice to both admitting, based on a self-interest perspective that would result in a divorce. The bottom line is, players must always be sensible and anticipate their opponent's move in order to gain the upper hand.
It was once said that couples re-evaluate their relationship at a 7-year period, either realizing that the relationship is not working, whereby both parties do not feel content and dedicated. Ferris and Zayden have been happily married for 7 years, until one day they each broke their vows. Till death do us part? Guess not.
What should we do tonight, Ferris?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Let's go on a date.
Oh, okay. Sure, it's been quite a while.
Italian?
Yeah, okay. That works. Yeah.
Good.
Everything goes unsaid and both parties seem happy on the surface, but deep down, they are guilt-ridden.
Ferris, I have something important to tell you.
What is it?
I cheated on you with my boss. He's been giving me so many constant hints, and I finally just caved. I'm so sorry. I just want to ask for forgiveness.
I always knew you had things for your boss.
Ferris slaps Zayden and hands him $10,000 and walks away.
Zayden, I have to tell you something. I cheated on you with the housekeeper. I never felt that you loved me, and I hate you.
Ferris, that is ridiculous.
Zayden slaps Ferris and hands him $10,000 and walks away. Exposing themselves ultimately leads to a divorce.